Springs slasher. It was another quiet morning in Sterling Springs. The kind of morning where the sun lazily peeked through the curtains, casting gentle shadows across the kitchen floor. Toby stood at the sink washing dishes while his mother, Dorothy, sat at the table, her voice warm and filled with nostalgia. "I do love our breakfast talks," Dorothy said, smiling fondly at Toby. "You've always been such a good son, taking care of me after your father's accident." Toby nodded, his hands submerged in soapy water. "I couldn't have done it without you, Mom. You taught me everything, including the Sterling Springs secret sleep ritual." Dorothy chuckled softly, her eyes distant. "Ah yes, that old elixir, a warm cup of blue lotus and chamomile tea from workingherbs.com just before bedtime on a restless night to relax your mind and help your sweet dreams overcome all of your darkest nightmares. You've always been so brave. Even as a little boy, you inspired me to try to put my own nightmares to rest." Just as Toby was about to share a big surprise, an urgent knock interrupted them. He opened the door to find Sheriff James, the stocky figure framed against flashing police lights. "Morning, Toby," James said, his voice serious. "I wanted to check on you and your mom. There's been a series of incidents, gruesome murders, just like the night of your father's accident. Until we catch the killer, stay inside after midnight." Toby nodded, a chill running down his spine. "Of course, Sheriff. Thanks for the warning." That night, after tucking Dorothy into bed, Toby performed the sleep ritual. It had been years since he'd needed it, but the sheriff's words echoed in his mind, stirring ancient fears. In his dreams, Toby found himself in a twisted nightmare. Tree-like monsters loomed over him, their branches reaching out like claws. He turned to face them, golden axe appearing in his hand. He fought bravely, but before he could finish them, a loud knocking pulled him back to reality. Sheriff James stood at the door again, his eyes searching. "Toby, did you leave the house last night? We need to know." For the next 3 nights, Toby's nightmares grew more bizarre. The line between dream and reality blurred, each night filled with terror until he awoke in a panic. His mother's bed was empty, the front door ajar. A whispering voice urged him to the lumber mill. There, under the moonlight, he found Dorothy standing over the foreman, his father's axe poised for one final strike. "Mom, no!" Toby screamed, horror etched on his face. Dorothy turned, blood-soaked and tearful. "I'm sorry, Toby. I tried to let go, but your father, he's in my nightmares, a monster demanding revenge for his murder." She confessed that the lumber mill owner, protected by his powerful connections, had covered up Henry's death. Her dreams, haunted by Henry as a tree-like monster, demanded retribution. Sheriff James arrived as Dorothy finished her confession. She walked towards him, then paused, turning back to Toby. "We both know I have to go now," she said softly. "But what was the big surprise?" Toby, choking back tears, revealed. "I finally saved enough for us to sell this old house and get a fresh start together. To leave this town behind." Dorothy wept. "I was always happy for you, Toby. But the sleep ritual never worked for me after your father died." As the police took her away, Toby stood speechless, the weight of despair crushing him. The town of Sterling Springs would never be the same, haunted by the shadows of the past and the echoes of a mother's madness.